Welcome back to the news at 10. Police in River State are investigating the killing of two brothers in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. The bodies of the brothers, Ifeanyi and Emeka Wobo, were discovered by the police with their heads decapitated in Elekahia housing estate in Obiakpo local government area. Residents of the community say the brothers were last seen boarding a taxi on Monday and their corpses discovered on Tuesday. The police public relations officer, River State Police Command, Nnamdi Omoni, says the police are investigating the matter. Meanwhile, residents of Odume Layout in Obosi, Anambra State, are appealing to the state and federal governments to come to their aid as erosion has taken over their community. The problem started when flash floods from heavy downpour on July 8th heightened the effect of the erosion, which split the severed Minaj bypass, pulling down buildings and farmlands. Our community report tonight looks at the devastation caused by nature in Odume Layouts in Obosi.
Now you're talking.
However shocking this image might be to those watching this, the feeling cannot be compared to that of the residents of Odume Layout, Obosi, in Idemili North local government area of Anambra State, who woke up on the 9th of July to discover that the world, as they knew it, had split in two. As if the heavy rainfall a day earlier was not bad enough, a gully erosion has taken over the community, ripping apart the major road and destroying houses. Now, the people are stranded and homeless.
I'm no longer sleeping in my house again. Night, I pack out with my family and go and sleep to church. Please, I'm begging federal government and state government to join hand and help me.
The erosion is said to have been slowly eating away at the earth, but the downpour sped up the destruction process.
This erosion has done more harm than good in this very particular area, this very place. It wasn't like this before, it was down. It is within this 1 week that all this houses you saw falling down.
For this woman, the idea of relocating is as cumbersome as staying here.
There's more time now. From this more hunt, I will run away. Don't you see it's coming nearer? Where am I running to? So I am begging you if you can help us. Let you people help us because already we are tired.
An assessment team from the government has come to inspect the level of destruction and assign it to the appropriate quarters.
This is only one rain that have done this havoc. So you can imagine if you have 2, 3, 4 of such rains, this building you're looking at is going to go. And at the federal level, of course, you know the procurement processes are not done. Before we finish that, this whole area will have been lost into this deep gully. I'm also using the opportunity to call the state government to quickly, as a matter of urgent intervention, at least let's halt the movement and then if possible, work on it permanently.
Very little can be done to stop nature when it decides to express itself. So the authorities may want to provide the residents of this community with a speedy relocation plan before the devastation becomes worse than it already is.
Now you're talking.
Medview, one of Nigeria's flag carrier airlines, has expanded its domestic passenger services to Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. The chief operating officer of the airline, Lukman Animashaun, said the expansion of routes to Ilorin is part of its strategic long-term roadmap to build a more efficient intracity network. The airline will operate on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays into the Ilorin International Airport.
Creating and sustaining viable routes is critical to any airline's bottom survival, so carriers must look for those options. And for Medview Airlines, Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, is the next stop on its route network. "30 minutes after, the airport is in view. Passengers and airlines deploying to a warm welcome. For Medview Airlines, the expansion into this city is informed by the desire to provide effective services across the country.
A lot of people want to travel, but they don't have enough capacity to be able to move them out. But with this capacity we are bringing, we'll be able to carry as many people out of Ilorin and into Ilorin. And what actually informs us is to be able to connect the people right in Ilorin here with the neighboring state, to use the opportunity of these our flights to connect other northern parts of the country.
Passengers are also glad to have other connection options.
Constant flyers in Ilorin have been advocating for more airlines to fly Ilorin because of the monopolistic tendency that the two, or I can say 1.5 airlines that are flying Ilorin is having.
I've flown Melview for quite some time from Abuja to Lagos, and I know that we are lucky in Ilorin to have Melview connecting us to Lagos.
According to the carrier, Ilorin has always been home owing to its involvement in Hajj operations. And to take the relationship further, a visit to the office of the Secretary to the State Government is key.
When we made a choice of our career for 2017 Hajj operation and we tried to pick Medview Airlines, we met at Saudi Arabia during Umrah. Then we discussed all that and informed me that by July 10 or 11, Medview will be operating from Ilorin to Abuja.
Medview Airline has offered domestic passenger services since November 2012. It has since expanded into regional and long-haul scheduled passenger routes.
Many believe that the inadequacy of public library services and infrastructure has been a major setback to education in the country, cutting off the role they play in mental and intellectual development of people. Now, keeping this in mind, Guarantee Trust Bank has, in partnership with the Lagos State Government, remodeled the old Herbert Macaulay Library into what they consider to be a state-of-the-art center for learning and social engagement.
The arrival of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State signals the start of activities to commission the newly remodeled Herbert Macaulay Public Library. At the heart of the GT Read initiative is the desire to connect people with global resources of information, irrespective of their background or social standing, giving customers and communities benefits beyond banking.
Our objective is very simple, is to create a public library where you can have access to the best material available in the world.
A walk around the facility shows it has a fully air-conditioned reading area with books and internet-enabled computers, a lounge, and a room for collectors' items, among other spaces.
Part of our Code Lagos initiative, our plan to teach 1 million Lagosians to code over the next 3 years. We're going to have a coding center here that will have systems that can train roughly 40 people per class. We're going to be having a book a month session that allows us to read books and do all those kind of things.
This is because real life problems are not perfect.
And indeed, a book reading session is taking place. Joy, who schools at Herbert Macaulay Girls Senior High School, believes this brings her closer to her dream of becoming a lawyer.
I've always wanted to read books that are related to law, but having seen the books here, I can see that there are some that will help me even in my journey to become a lawyer.
Staff of Guarantee Trust Bank say they hope to help students at any level of education develop a reading culture, build capacity, and connect with peers and educators anywhere on the planet.
It's time for business news now. Here's Millicent Walker.
You first. First Bank.
Business news. Chief Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company, Mr. Bismarck Rawani, says the agitation for resource control in some regions in Nigeria has their root in widening economic and financial inequality. Mr. Rawani was speaking today on Channels Television Business Morning about the impact of fiscal mismanagement and lack of opportunities resulting in poverty and calls for restructuring. And with 28 gainers, this is against 14 losers, Nigeria's stock market enters its 5th consecutive gain after another 47 basis points rise in the all-share index. Let's join Bisi Adebayo for the summary.
Bullish sentiment on the domestic stock market continues Wednesday, with the general index up nearly 0.5% on the back of aggressive trading worth 2.7 billion naira. The broad index finished at 32,891.63 as the banking sector rallies 1.34%, consumer goods made 0.46%, and industrial stocks better by 0.18% on the day. Data sourced from Securities Africa shows most of Wednesday's gain on banks such as Ecobank, Transnational, Diamond and GT Bank, including non-banks like Cutix and 7up PLC. The most active stocks were the banks. Investors exchanged Zenith Bank shares worth 581 million naira, and UBA posted 434 million naira, and transactions in Access Bank 339 million naira. Other top movers on the counter were GT Bank and FBN Holdings. And that's it on the stock market reports. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Most of the leading global equities ended Wednesday's session in the green, but Asian bourses closed mostly lower earlier today after markets digested comments from US Federal Reserve and the Bank of England officials. These are the numbers. And that's business news. It's back to Amarachi with the rest of the news.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead of the news at 10, defending champion Andy Murray and former champion Novak Djokovic crash out of Wimbledon. That's coming up in sports news. Please join us again.